Before we start to our main topic, I will have some short introduction about our subject, inventory control and management. What is inventory control management? From the word inventory, its primary purpose is to ensure there is enough goods or materials to meet demand without creating overstocks or excess inventory. Given the situation right now, where we struggle financially, some of us started online business, small business, to have some more income. For example, students who started online business, since they are not that knowledgeable enough about business, they need to know how to manage their inventories and stocks. This is the main purpose of the subject. It helps you identify which and how much stock to order at what time. It helps you track your inventories from purchase to sale of goods. It practices you to identify and respond to trends to ensure there's always enough stocks and proper warning of shortage. Working on your inventories before you start business helps you save money and allows you to fulfill your customers' needs. In other words, inventory control protects a business or a company from fluctuations in demand of products. It enables a company to provide better services to its customers. It keeps a smooth flow of materials and aids in continuing production operations. It checks and maintains the right stock and reduces the risk of loss. Our topic for today is about stocks within an organization. The last chapter gave a general introduction to inventory management. In this chapter, we are going to look more specifically at the role of stocks within an organization. We'll see how stocks allow an organization to work efficiently, achieve its broader aims, and maintain an acceptable level of customer service. The chapter discusses the context for inventory management within an organization and introduces some of the methods. So after discussing this chapter, we should be able to do the following. First, show how inventory management fits into the broader function of logistics. Second, explain how the aims of inventory management are set within an organization. Third, appreciate the strategic importance of stock. Fourth, list some basic questions of inventory control. And lastly, outline some different approaches to stock control. This chapter also emphasizes logistics, which moves materials through the supply chain, stock or inventory management, which includes all the decisions made about stocks within an organization, and lastly, aims and approaches of inventory management. Inventory management and logistics. Functions of logistics. In the last chapter, logistics is responsible for all aspects of movement and storage of materials in a supply chain, while inventory management is specifically responsible for the storage of materials rather than viewing inventory management as a separate function. We could therefore describe it as one of the activities that combine to form the broader functions of logistics. All of these activities are closely related, that it would certainly be difficult to draw a boundary between inventory management and, say, purchasing, material handling, or warehousing. What is logistics? Logistic companies plan, implement, and control the movement and storage of goods, services, or information within a supply chain and between the points of origin and consumption. Logistics is the part of the supply chain involved in managing the forward and reverse flow and storage of goods, services, and related information between the point of origin and the point of consumption to meet consumers' requirements. So what is point of origin? Point of origin is kung asa kagikan ana nga materials, and then point of consumption is like data. What are point of consumption? POC data. POC data is user-specific transaction level data collected when a consumer uses a product or services. So di ba kung magpalit ka og mga materials, mag-purchase ka ng mga materials, di ba naanay ka ng resibo? So, mao ng POC, data sa imuhang i-purchase or resibo. What is supply chain? A supply chain is a network between a company and its suppliers to produce and distribute a specific product or service. This is the supply chain. First is the raw materials. Raw materials are basic materials from which a product is made. For example, oil, corn, grain, gasoline, fabric, plastic, etc. Next is supplier. Person or organization that provides something needed such as product service. Sila ang mag-supply ana nga mga raw materials. Next is manufacturer. Defined as an activity which utilizing a variety of capabilities adds value to a material, thereby making possible different uses of that materials. So sila ang nagbuhat sa finished product na siya. Sila ang nagbuhat ana. For example, dito sa fabric, raw material ng fabric, sa may dapat gamitan sa fabric, clothing, maghimo o sanina, maing ana. So, ang manufacturer, sila ang gabuhat para ibaligya. Next is the distributor. Buy and hold stock for the manufacturer. So, kaning distributor, maoning mag-distribute sa mga mamaligya. So, kaning manufacturer, since nakabuhat naman sila o mga sanina, dito nila naihatag sa mga distributor para sila pod ang mobaligyan ang mga finished products. Next is the retailer. A person or business that sells good to the public relatively small quantities for a consumption rather than for sale. So ang kanang distributor, sila man ang naghawid sa mga finished materials gikan sa manufacturer. Ang kaning retailer mao na pud imong maligya sa mga tao nga sa ilang business. For example, clothing store o diha sila. Next is the consumer. Person who purchases goods and services for personal use. So, ang mga consumer mao nang mamalit. For example, kita nagpalit ta og sanina, mao nang consumer.
Setting the aims of inventory management. So the goal of this inventory management
is to ensure that all kinds of materials are accessible whenever the production departments needs them, and ensuring that the production is not too slow or stop due to the lack of resources. So, for example, this is that the manager want to guarantee that materials are available when they are needed and that costs are controlled. So, it means that ang imong product is tama lang. So, dili lang jud kayo magpadaghan og mga product because kanang masubrahan na ang kanang product, nay possibility nga wala na kay mahalin kay na-stock nga sa mga ana. So dapat imong product is limited lamang. So kuan nimo nga limit lang imong product nga kani siya is makurot, di mo pasubraan. Maybe pasubraan nimo siya if kuan na jud kay siya kanang trend na jud kay siya ana. Then ang price, so kuan nimo nga kuan pud siya sa product nga imuhang gikuan sa price. Ibale satisfaction gives siya.
So we have 3 objectives of inventory management.
The first is takes a very broad view and has inventory management contributing to the smooth flow of materials through the intersupply chain.
And then the second, take an organizational view and has inventory management supporting logistics in achieving the overall aims of the organization. And the third, takes the functional and has inventory management, making sure that the materials are available when they are needed.
So when we say logistic when we say logistic strategy, is a set of principles, attitudes, and driving forces that guide coordination of plans, goals, and policies between the partners across the supply. So, ang logistic strategy is kuhaan siya sa mga goal, sa plans and policies between the organization. So sila ang gakuan sa mga sa goal ninyo sa inyong kuan, sa inyong organization nga na then plans.
Hi everyone, my name is Benjamin Enmeliama, base BA Second. Today I will discuss my topic. My topic is setting the aims of inventory management. A lean strategy put too much emphasis on cost and cannot deal with changing condition. Agile organization keep a close check on a customer demands and react quick. If a supplier improves EDI links with its customers, it can both reduce cost and increase customer service. Becoming both lean and more agile, if a business strategy includes fast deliveries to customers, the logistic strategy defines policies of having stock located near to customers and inventory. Management make the decision to implement this strategic decision to sell products through website links or tactical decision about warehousing, material handling, and recruiting the customer service and so on. Alternative strategies. A lean strategy try to do everyday operation with the less possible resources. People, space, and stock, equipment, time, money, and etc. The typical approach does a detailed analysis of current operations and then remove operations that add no value. Eliminate delays, simplifies process, reduce complexity, and find economics of scales. Lean strategy puts too much emphasis on cost and cannot deal with the changing condition, increasing competition or more sophisticated customers. Agile strategy gives high equality service by responding quick to different or changing circumstances. Both strategies recognize that customer satisfaction and low cost are dominant themes. Strategic focus. Lean and agile strategy enable organizers to focus on specific features of their products and operations. An organization encouraging strategy must look for the best balance between internal strength and external constraints, matching what is a good to what customer want. Its decision has to work with organization logistic strategy as well as its external factor such as customer requirements and competitions.
Implementing the strategies. The framework for inventory decisions work at all levels. Strategic decisions about stock support business and logistic strategies. And build a long-term internal and external packs. Tactical and decision about stock support, the operational and tactical inventory decision, and work with medium-term and short-term factors.
Strategic rule of stocks. It is the process of tracking your goods and ensuring you have the right product and right place. In this sense, stock have clear strategic impact by influencing the long-term options that are available. They have clear effect on organizations' profit, margins, return of assets, and other financial measures and performance. Stock also gives a buffer between production and sales. This gives two considerable benefits. First, smooth operations are much more efficient than variable ones with easier planning, regular schedules, routine workflow, fewer changes. Second, the organization does not have installed enough capacity to match peak sales with facilities lying idle and giving low productivity during quarter periods.
This is the Polyansky Traders chart. It's all about the stocks. So as you can see, the stocks allowed production to remain very stable, changing by less than 10% during a period when sales by up to 57%. So we can see that in quarter 3, they meet their higher demand. So without the increasing the productions. In a quarter 2, we have a 105. So same in the 105 in quarter 3. So we have like proper inventory management allowed higher sales, lower productions, costs, and higher profits. So if we have a proper inventory management, so makakuan gid tag higher nga sales. So mas dagan pa ang ato ang kuan nga mga sales maabot sa atong business or sa company, then lower production cost. So mas mugamay pa ang atong magasto sa ato ang mga stocks may ana with a higher profits. So kung gamay atong gasto sa atong stocks, so dako ang atong ma-profits, dako ang ato ang makuha nga tubo sa ato ang mga stocks. So in stocks, in ROA or return on assets, so have a given. So return on assets, profits earned divided by assets employed. We have a formula of a return on assets. This one. Return on assets, profits earned divided by assets employed. So in this chart, effect of the stocks on the return on assets. We have a current assets, fixed assets, sales, profit margin, and price. This current assets can describe the current. For example, the stocks, then cash, then account receivable. Then the fixed assets or non-current assets, it could be the property, equipment, and plant, and etc. Then sales, customer satisfaction. Because without the customer satisfaction, wala po kay sales. Kailangan mag-meet nimo ang satisfaction sa customer. So, para imuhang company makapalit sila sa ilahang makapalit sa imuhang mga product. For example, the size or imuhang kung pila imuhang product, mo na siya, makuha siya sales. Then, profit margin, operating cost. More efficient inventory management gives lower operating costs. It can also improve procurement, monitor and control stocks level. And this price, product futures. When we say price, this could be the price of your product. So, if kana imong product pag dako ang imuhang presyo nga makuan, so ang demand ana is less na gid siya kay the possibility the other company is barato pa ilahang product, so ang mga customer mo ato sa lain kay para dito sila mapilit kay imuhang product is mahal lang kayo. So we need to kuan ang ato ang price kanang i-satisfy ato ang mga customer. So these two assets could be current assets and fixed assets. So the first 2 points, this one, the current assets and fixed assets, increase profits. Ano sila, maka-increase po sila ng mga profit. Then, mo nakataraw ni ang kaning return on assets. So, this is the solution of this situation. So, taking cost over a year, the current position is. So, makuha na to ang cost of stock, times na to ang amount of stock So into a decimal form, so we need to 0.25 times holding stock. The holding stock is 20% into decimal form. We need to 0.2. It equals to 1 million a year. So ang total cost, so if makuha tag total cost, so total man, so we need to add the operating cost plus cost of stock. So we have a 15 million sa ato ang operating cost plus 1 million this one, then muna siya ang 16 million a year. Sa profit, sa ato ang makita na, sa atong tubo, sales minus total cost. So ato ang na sales is 20 million katong sa ato ang situation, and then minus sa ato ang 16 million sa ato ang total cost. That is equal to 4 million a year. So total assets, so i-add na to total magyapon, so other assets plus stock. So 30 million sa ato ang total sa atong other assets. In this situation, we have a 30 million over there. So plus ato siya sa ato ang total sa ato ang stock nga 20 million times 0.25. Kaya ang amount of stock na to is 20 million times 0.25 in decimal form. 25% man siya sa percentage siya. So equals to 35 million. ROA or return on assets, we have a profit divided by total assets. So atong profit is 4 million divided by sa ato ang total assets, that is 35 million. So we have a 0.114 into decimal form and into percentage form, we have a 11.4%. Then cost of stocks. We have a 20 million times 0.2 times 0.2 equals to 0.8 million. Total cost 15 million plus 0.8 million equals to 15.8 million a year. Profit at tubo is 25 million, so we have to minus the 15.8 million. We have the answer is 4 million a year. Total assets 30 million plus 20 million times 0.2, it equals to 34 million. Return on assets 4.2 million divided by 34 million equals to 0.124 into a percentage by decimal percentage equals to 12.4%. So it is clear that the management of stocks affects the overall performance of an organization. Sa ato ang stock, so magdepende gid sa ato ang location.
So now, we are in cost of holding stocks. It includes the money you have spent buying the stock as well as storage and insurance. Values of stocks. It refers to shares of a company that appears to trade at a lower price. Stock company appears as current assets in a company's account. It is important to have an accurate value of stocks as this affect the overall value and performance. The stocks are normally bought over the some period, so the unit cost changes because of inflation, discounts, variance, inequality, the other variance in terms and controls. We could also look the stock rather than the amount it costs. We have 4 main methods to put reasonable values of stocks. First, actual cost. In actual cost, the organizations hold a few units in stocks to put an actual cost on each unit, but if the value of unit changes, it will report it precisely in the stock valuation. This is the cost of an asset when it's initially recorded in the financial statement as a fixed asset. Second, first in, first out. It is a method used in managing inventory and financial matters, involving the amount of money a company has to have tied up with an inventory of produced stock. For example, if a batch of 1,000 items get manufactured in the first week of a month and another batch of 1,000 in the second week, then the batch produced first gets sold first. Third, last in, first out. The opposite of first in, first out, and assumes that the units both last are sold. Weighted average cost is the rate that the company is expected to pay on average all its security holders to finance its assets. So now, Ms. Katipay will discuss the other examples.
So this is a chart of Ulrika's hardness. Monthly purchases. So we have a month of November, December, January, February, March, April. Number of bought in November we have 110, then December 60, and January 70, 50, 80, and 40. Then cost of the each unit. So in November we have a 22, 26, 30, 28, 24, and so on. And number of sold, so we have kay napalit man ta. So kung napalit man ta mga products, so we halin po ta, makabaligya po ta. So ang iyang baligya atong November is 73, 71, 49, 53, 37, and 71. So atong ikuan ang solution sa total cost of purchases. So makuha nato ang total cost of purchases when we should times the number of bought and the cost of each unit. So 110 times 22, 60 times 26, 70 times 30, and so on. And then we have to add all of this. So the result is 10,680. So stock movement show 400 purchases and 350 purchases. So as mga nung na 410 purchases na siya. It is because i-add na to yung number of bought sa ato ang napalit, and then sa ato ang 354 sales sa ato ang na baligyan. So that the closing stock is 56 units. Kaya ang 410 minus na to sa ato ang 354. So ang ato ang stock na lang is 56 units. Each unit sold for 335. So the income, so ang each unit man daw is nag-candidate sa 35. So we have to times all of the sales, kanisya sales. So ang result is 12,390. The gross profit is the income minus the cost of units sold. So, ato ang makuha ang profit when we minus the income and the cost of units sold. Income minus cost of purchases, cost of remaining stock. So, diyan na, income, cost of purchases minus cost of remaining stocks. Profit margin, so makuha ang profit margin if we divide the profit and the number of units of sold. So Mr. Pascual discussed about the four methods. The four methods is the actual cost, then first in first out, last in first out, then the last is the weighted average cost of a unit. So first, we have the actual cost. When we say the actual cost is needs the price for price paid for each unit remaining in the stock. So we need information to calculate this. So in November, nakapalit tag 7. In November, nakapalit tag 7. in then December na ay 6 and January na ay 8, then February 11, that March 17, then 7 sa April. We have a total of, then i-divide nato siya sa katong nabaligya nato sa katong sa cost of each unit. So 7 man ato nabaligya sa December, so we need to times the cost of each unit. So the answer is, kani i-add naman ni sila. So is the answer 1,490. Then atong profit, di ba pag makuha nato atong profit is we should minus the income and the cost of the unit sold. This profit. So we have a 12,390. Mangutanan mo kung asa gikan ang 12,390. So, dili na po siya nakuha sa nara sa ato ang total cost of purchases. 12,390. Then, profit 10,680. 10,680 i-minus na to siya sa 1,490. That's a total of 3,200. Muna ato ang profit sa ato ang the actual cost. Then sa profit margin tab, 3,200 divided by 354 sa ato ang sales. So the answer is 9.048 unit.
Inventory control is based on the answers to 3 basic questions. This asks about the items to stock, the timing of orders, and the quantities ordered. There are 2 approaches to answering these questions. Independent demand methods use forecast of demand to define optimal order quantities and times. Dependent demand methods look for other ways of coordinating the supply and demand. This is the end of our report. Thank you and God bless.